Hello, Stacy. How are you? I was looking at your photo again of your drum set. There's going to be a little bit of a change come Monday. I'm going to add 2 more tom-toms to the top. This way I can show you some moves. I don't really like playing with 3 toms on the top, but hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you different moves. Hello, Seth. How are you? Did everybody hear what I just said? I'm going to change my setup come Monday. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to put a couple more tom-toms up here, and we're going to work with them. I don't really like, I just play basically with the bass drum, the snare, the ride cymbal, and the hi-hat. But, then I fool around a little bit with the toms. And I feel more comfortable just with 1 tom on top. So I'm going to add the 2 tom-toms. I have an 8, 10, and 12. I have a 14 and 16. So we're going to work with that. Yeah, everybody's fine. Did you check out those PDFs, Seth? And Stacy, how did it work out for you yesterday when we worked over the jazz time and how to approach it? All right, one of the reasons why I'm putting up the 2 additional tom-toms, we're going to do some linear concepts utilizing the groups of 5, 4, and 6. So what I recommend is if you have the Joe Morello book, check out his table of time, work on it as much as you can, up to where you can. I'm sure everybody here understands. Good, Stacy. I'm sure everybody understands how to do up to groups of 6. The 7s and 11s drive me crazy, but hey, it's part of the deal. No problem, Seth. Okay, so now, let's wait for a couple more people to come in here because I'm really early. And I'd like to come a little early for the early birds here, and we could talk a little bit about any problems that you're having. Perhaps we could, help you out with that issue. Okay, so the jazz patterns helped you out. Seth, how you doing, Robert? Seth, do you have the Joe Morello table of time? If not, I'll send you a copy of something, okay? Robert, you missed out what I just said, and we're going to put a couple more tom-toms up on top come Monday. And I'll be a real rock star. Okay, so let's work with the table of time. Let's work with the 5s, the 6s, and the 7s. And by the way, everyone who has ordered the hard copy, they're all coming to you as of today. They're all been in the mail. All right, well, you don't need to be in the practice room. Sometimes it's just best to listen. All right, who does not have Joe Morello's Master Studies 1? So from the grouping of 1 to the grouping of 6, is there any issues? Like the 5s, for example? You have 5 strokes equal distant between the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Do we all understand that? Dennis, you have, who does not have Joe Morello's Master Studies? Well, you should look at it. You should work on a table of time. So because you haven't looked at it, do you have it handy, Stacy, so you could open it up? Robert, I know, has it. Dennis, do you have it? And Seth, do you have it? All right, I'm going to start playing it without a metronome. I'm going to play up to groups of 6. Okay? It's good for your timing, but we're going to actually, starting Monday, we're going to do some, and you'll get some PDFs on it, groupings of 5 and groupings of 6, all right, as a formula, all right, and linear concepts for groups of 5 and 6. You gave it. What'd you give? You got it. Have it. Jimmy, get the mouthpiece out of your mouth. All right, so Dennis, Seth, you don't have it. Everyone else here has it. All right, Seth, not a problem. I'm going to send you the sheet up to maybe groups of 7 or 8, 9 or 10. That only leaves 11 and 12. Now, I'm sure you don't realize what I'm talking about. So, for example, it starts off with quarter notes. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we've had it before, and you shouldn't make it part of your daily diet when you're practicing. So we're going to do 4 quarter notes equalized in the distance. That's your tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the second line is quarter note triplets. So you're going from quarter notes to quarter note triplets. So I'm going to do it 2 lines. The first line a couple times, the quarter notes, and then the quarter note triplets a couple times and back to the quarter notes. So here we go. 1, 2. Listen to the bass drum. It's feathered in. 1, 2. Line 2, the quarter note triplets. 1. Okay, so now from quarter notes to quarter note triplets, the next line is going to be 8th notes. So you're doing quarter note triplets, and 8th notes. All right, we're going to do the first 3 lines. 1. Now notice the bass drum is feathered in. I'm not going pounding it. It's blending into my strokes. The bass drum is being played. 1, 2. Next line, 1 and the 2 and the 3. 8th notes. Back to quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Quarter note triplets. 8th notes. Now notice I played 3 different rhythmic figures, yet my hands all sounded the same. The only thing that changed was the rhythm. So that's what you're after. Now I do have a video explaining the table of time to groups of 6 on Facebook. On YouTube, I'm sorry. So gather it, check it out. Now, we did quarter note triplets, eighth notes. Notice I did not put an accent in any one of those three lines. Now, what's going to come into view with the eighth note triplet, okay, is going to be an accent on account of the downbeat of the triplet. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all right. Then from this point on, after the eighth note triplet, there's going to be accents. How you doing, Paul? On the first downbeat. Okay. So let me play quarter note triplets, eighth note triplets. Okay. Here we go. I'll play them randomly a couple times here, a couple times there. 1, 2. Listen to the bass drum. It's feathered in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarter note triplets. Eighth notes. Eighth note triplets with the accent. Sixteenths. Back to quarters. Eighth note triplets. A quarter. Sorry. Eighth notes. Triplets. 16th notes. Now it's best, first I would recommend playing it on the practice pad so you can hear the metronome. Now, what is great about this is you're making that transition from line to line with the metronome, okay? And it's definitely, without a doubt, that's the table of time. It's to help your timing. So I took it to sixteenths, okay? And notice when I did the triplets, for example, the level came in. See that? 3 and the 4 and the. Got it? And the 16th notes, the same thing with the level. Now, the one that's really tough are the 5s, the 7s, and the 11s. They're unusual. So the grouping of 5, you're getting 5 equal strokes in between the downbeat. The downbeat's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we understand that. What's the question here? Is there a question? Sorry. How do I count line 2? It's going to cost you 50 cents. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, let me break down line 2. Like I said before, there is a video of me breaking this all down on YouTube, okay? It's a quarter note triplet. Now you do the math. Math don't change. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So now you have eighth note triplets, all right? And, I mean, 16th note triplets, I'm sorry. Quarter note triplets, rather. Oh, I'm sorry. And now you think eighth note triplet. So if you think eighth note triplets, that's 12 strokes to a measure, right? 1 and 2 and 4 and So now you're doing the groups, the quarter note triplets. There's 6 strokes there, 6 quarter notes. Those 6 quarter notes are equal to how many eighth notes? 12 eighth notes. So you have the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to play it one hand. I'm going to do it slow. What this is really a polyrhythmic thing. You could say it's 3 against 2, or it could be 6 against 4. Okay? But don't think that way. Just think of the count. Think 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now I'm going to demonstrate this really slow, and I'm going to demonstrate it just with the right hand. So when I'm counting that, I'm going to play every other count. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now, that didn't really sound like anything because I didn't put the bass drum in there. All right, what do you got, Jimmy? Let's see what we got from Jimmy. All right. Jimmy, I just told, before you got here, I said to everybody, come Monday, there's going to be a change here, adding more tom-toms and changing the camera angles. For now, this is what it has to be. As far as a foot camera, I have extra cameras to give you my foot, but I had to put lighting down there, or else you're not going to see anything. Okay? Now, let's get back to the quarter note breakdown, the quarter note triplet breakdown. I'm counting 1, my bass drum now, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Again, now with just the right hand. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Does it help you out a little bit, Stacy? I'm going to do a little bit of a chart on this. Maybe I'll send it to everybody. I don't know. Hello, Mr. Monte. We'll get the bass drum pedal going. But the bass drum is on 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's feathered in. It's not pounding. Okay? Now, does that help you? You sure, Stacy? Okay. Now, we've gone up to groupings of 5, correct? The bass drum is still on the first count of the stroke. I'm getting 5 strokes, equal distant, between the quarter notes. So turn the metronome on, click, 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 whatever. And for each click, in between each click, you got to get 5 strokes equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Got it? All right, that is it's another world. Believe me. What is this? I don't know. I got to find out, Jim. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm doing the table of time for these guys, okay? We're doing I use the groupings of 5. All right, now the groupings is 6. Now I'm not going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I divide it, and I could divide it a few different ways. I feel very comfortable dividing it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. If you know, 1 and 2 and 3 and is 6 counts. And I'm going to accent the downstroke, the downbeat rather, on the count of 1. So I'm going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay, so that takes you up to the groups of 6. Now the 7s are difficult. And something happens here when you count 7. You're not going to count 7, you're going to count 7. Because if you count 7, it breaks up the rhythm. So with one hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's grouping up to 7. Any questions on that? Now, when I get to 7, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was a mistake there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it doesn't sound right. Okay? We'll talk a little bit about it on the phone, Jim, okay? All right, so that takes you up to 7s. Now, 8s, again, I'm not going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot of counting. So I'm going to subdivide the count. A grouping of 4, 1 ienda, okay, that's 4, battery low. Ho, ho. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Ay, ay, ay. So, Jimmy, you're worried about seeing my bass drum. What I forgot to do was plug in the charger. How about that? Always something every day. All right. Sorry about that. Old dog, what server are you using? You're using Google, Firefox, or Internet Explorer? What are you using? Because if you're using Internet Explorer, you're going to have a problem. If you use Google or Firefox, you're in the money. And by the way, old dog, your book is on the way. Why do you have to live so far? I guess Nova Scotia is really nice. Surrounded by all that water. Am I coming through to everybody? Well, the server is not a problem. What is your provider on the? What do you have on your computer? You have Internet Explorer, you have Google, or you have Firefox. Which one do you have? Because that does make a big difference. Yeah, now it's coming through. All right. The battery charger, the battery went dead. I don't usually use just the battery. I forgot to plug it in. All right, we're better now, right? Okay. Now, old dog, you got to talk to me. What server you're on? You know, it's not. You have a provider, which is your internet company. Okay, that's the local company. But now, if you're gonna go into stream or come on the internet, you should be using either Google Chrome or Firefox. Yeah, Firefox does work well. So does Google. Both of them are about the same thing. Okay, I hope old dog gets back to me here. The local server is a company that's totally different. That's your provider. Okay. We're up at 8s rather, okay? Before my camera went. Sorry about that. Now we're on 8s. We have, if I did 4 with one hand, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Well, I'm going to keep that count for the 8s, but I'm just going to double the stroke on the count. 1 E and the 2. Do we understand that breakdown? Eights. Exercise in the stick control book. So now we got down to 8s. How about 9s? Again, we subdivide. I'm not going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to think per downbeat. 1, 2, 3. This is where I use the triplet. Instead of 1 and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. However, okay, every count is going to be 3 strokes. 1, 2, 3. That was 9 strokes. Do we understand that? That's the 9s. Mr. Mante, Stacy, Paul, old dog. Jimmy. Do we understand that? Okay, that's my approach for the 9s. I think 1, 2, 3. So if I really broke it down a little bit clearer, if I'm thinking 3, it's 1, 2, 3. So now the 1, 1, 2, 3. If I break it down even further, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 1. Okay? Now it takes you up to 9s. Let's go to 10s. The 11s are going to be a nightmare, but that's okay. I really can't teach 11s. You need to feel that. It's very difficult, but we'll get to the 10s. Again, the 10s, we subdivide. If I did 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. So I'm going to double the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1. Now here comes the nightmare. 11s. Inga bunga boonga. Oh, this you have to do slow. I'm still, it's a hit or miss thing with the 11s and when I'm doing the whole thing down. But when I hit it, I feel good. When I miss it, I said, shit. And I say, okay, that's it. I'm going to work just on the 11s. So there's no subdividing the 11s, you're going to need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's tough. A lot of counting. Let me give it an attempt. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Too many right there. So let's just pass that. We'll get to that another time. I want to break down the 12s. Again, I revert to 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now, per count, I'm going to use 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. That's enough for the breakdown. The 11 is a lot of counting. That's the toughest one out of the whole page. But that's okay. What do we have here? Hold on, Robert. Let me show that. You can't, no. That you can count it that way too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. That's 12. All right, you could do that. But to me, it's a lot easier to break it down into 3. That's still a lot of counting. I'm trying to break down the counting. So if I'm doing the 12, and you're not wrong, that's a way. If that works for you, fine. But I rather count 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a, because it makes it a little bit easier. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1. I can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. Or I can count 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. I prefer to count the way I was just doing it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. All right, but it's all good, and if whatever works for you, works for you. Everybody has just a different approach. Where did old dog go? I feel bad for him. I have to talk to him on email. I'll get him on email. Okay, so work on a table of time tonight, this afternoon. Yeah, tonight we're going to either, it's your choice, guys, the workbook, stick control book formulas, or the syncopation formulas. But work on this. Bring me back questions if you have them. Okay? Any questions? Now that's a lot to swallow with one lesson, and that was like a half hour or almost 45 minutes. Oof. Any questions, gentlemen, ladies? Robert, you could also count that 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, all right? That's going to give you 12. If I count 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a, it makes it simpler for me. All right, we'll dive into it. All right, Paul, not a problem. You like that, huh? What were you were looking at the formulas, the PDFs? What did you like about it? Which one do you want to work on? I can tell you right now what your answers are going to be is the jazz part. See how nice it's broken down? Count 12 again. Well, all right, let's just count 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Notice on the 11, I went 11, 12. Okay? Now, it's actually easier, okay, to count it. You can count it what you did, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. That's 12 counts, okay? Then you can count it 1 and a 2 and a 3 and, which is another 12 counts. Or 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. What happens is a little bit dangerous with the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the, because you're going to get a triplet feel, and you don't want that. It's 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and it, which is better. Whatever works. Way, old dog. Now you misunderstood what I said, Mr. Old Dog. Okay. Your server, your provider is a local provider. Like I have Optimum. Some people have AT&T. Some people have Verizon. So you have a company that provides the internet for you. My question to you is, when you turn your computer on, are you viewing this through Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, or Firefox? That's it, Seth. What do you mean 2 6s? Well, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what you're doing is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. That's 12 counts. That's what you need. So if you go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and, that's still 12 counts. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, that's another 12 counts. Yes, which browser? The browser and the server has nothing to do. I'm sorry, my apology. He has a provider, which is, like I said, I have internet, Optimum. Some people have AT&T. There are all kinds of different ones, Verizon, whatever. I don't know what Safari Apple vehicle is. Do you have on, is that the name of the provider? Or that's what your browser is? What browser are you using? Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Firefox? I would change whatever you're doing to Google Chrome. You understand the difference, dear Robert? Because you're not wrong. I mean, it's kind of goofy for me, or a lot of other people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot of counting. And you're going to miss it. So I subdivide that. You could do it like you did. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, which works if it works for you. I prefer to count it 1 and a 2 and a 3 and that's 12 beats. Or again, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the per downbeat. But it's okay. Oh, I see, Stacy. I didn't know. You have a Mac? Old dog. I didn't know that. Thank you, Stacy. Let's make Stacy the overseer for the stream. She has all the answers most of the time. Yeah, subdividing is better. I mean, whatever you feel good with, Robert. Okay? I prefer 1 and a 2 and a 3 and that's 12. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and is another 12. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 is also 12. It's much better than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot of counting. All right, so today, work on the table of time. Tonight, we're going to dig into the syncopation formulas. And again, come Monday, I'm setting up 2 additional tom-toms. Now, most of you guys here have 2 tom-toms on the top. Maybe some have 3, I'm not sure. But the norm today seems to be 2 tom-toms. I don't know why. Anyway, I can't beat the price on mine. You know, DWs are expensive. And they were in the mail one day, and it was nice. So I have an 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. I also have an 18-inch bass drum, and I have an additional 14-inch floor tom, plus I have about 7 snares. Why are you laughing, Stacy? Okay, Stacy's the overseer. Anybody gives us any nonsense, Stacy, get on them. All right, there is no questions. We're going to work with, old dog, your book is on the way. Not a problem, man. I sent it airmail. They're going to drop it with a parachute. And everybody here is getting the book, and they have the PDFs. Whoever would like the PDFs that don't wants to buy the PDFs that are not constant members here, just email me, Matt Patella, 1001@gmail.com. Simple. Now, a lot of people just don't want to learn. All right, what do you want to work on, Jimmy, with the syncopation formulas? What would you like to work on? Someday, old dog, when I come to Nova Scotia, you could buy me a drink. How's that sound? Anyway, guys, time for me to depart, you lovely people, and we'll see everybody tonight at 7 p.m. Okay? Who's this, Jimmy, again? All right, thank you, Jimmy. All right, guys, we'll see you.